Story 1. My girlfriend's ex is over. My girlfriend invited her ex over my apartment, and I'm fucking pissed. I live in a big city in my own apartment. My girlfriend Lily lives with roommates, but to be honest, she spends about 80% of her time at my place. Last night, while I was at the gym with my friend Mike, she texted me that she had an old friend she hadn't seen in a while. He was in town, and that it would be nice to sit somewhere quiet and chat. I said they could use my apartment. I'd go out to dinner with Mike myself, so that they would have time to chat. At that moment, I was at the gym and in a hurry. I didn't ask who exactly she was inviting, but apparently I should have, because that very old friend she decided to chat with alone in my apartment turned out to be her one and only ex-boyfriend, Kyle. About 30 minutes after this conversation, I get a text from the girl that they are already at my apartment. I simply replied, okay, and continued to work out with my friend. Mike and I finished our workout around 7 o'clock p.m. and decided to stop by Wolf Foods since they have a great hot dish and salad bar. We ate and finished dinner around 8:30 p.m. I drive home and, to be honest, thought I would just say hi and go to sleep. It had been a very long day and I was just ready to pass out right there. I arrive home around 9 o'clock p.m. and at this moment, I had no idea whether her friend was still at my apartment or had already left. I didn't hope that they were gone since I didn't want to talk to anyone at all. But oh well, I'll endure it for the girl. When I entered the apartment, I saw huge Timberlands, clearly men's. I immediately thought, fuck, her friend brought her boyfriend, now I have to sit and talk. I took off my clothes, took off my jacket and walked down the small hallway. I enter the living room and see my girlfriend sitting on the couch with a man at opposite ends, but they were looking straight at each other and talking. She noticed me and slightly flinched. At the time, I didn't attach any significance to it, but now, looking back, it explains a lot. At this moment, I was still completely in the dark. I said hello and went to the man. At the same time, I looked around in search of her friend. I honestly thought that she was in the bathroom or somewhere else. I shake the guy's hand and say something like, "Hi, I'm Lily's boyfriend." He responds in a smug tone with, "And Kyle is Lily's ex." I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I thought you were her friend's boyfriend." There's a silence, and it quickly happens to me that my girlfriend has been sitting alone with her ex in my apartment for the last couple of hours. I look at her and say, "So, am I right in assuming that this is your old friend?" She quietly replies, "Yes." At this point, I was trying to restrain myself from jumping to conclusions, but I was tired and not in the mood to talk, and I was starting to get angry that my girlfriend was just chilling with her ex in my apartment. I have some things to discuss with Lily, and he says, "Well, actually, she invited me over and we were just reminiscing about old times." I look at Lily and she can't even meet my eyes. I turn back to Kyle and say, "Okay, let me rephrase. This is my apartment and I'm telling you to leave." And he looks at her and asks, "You want me to leave?" At this point, I'm not proud of it either. I just snapped. "Why the fuck are you asking?" There was another silence, and neither of them even attempted to continue the conversation they had just had a few minutes ago. Lily asked me how my day was, and I said something like okay, probably feeling like I was in the way of something again. At this point, I'm at my breaking point. It's only been a minute since I asked her, and I look at him and say, "Carl, listen, maybe that's enough for today. I don't give a shit whether she wants you to stay or not. I tell you, get the fuck out of my house." Lily asks me to calm down, turns to him and says that he needs to leave. Kyle gets up, goes into the hallway to get his things. I follow him. He leaves. I come back and Lily is already mad at me. She says that I embarrassed her. I embarrassed her. She continues to carry on, saying that my reaction was completely inappropriate because she warned him that he would come and asked my permission. I say, "No, Lilia, you said a friend was coming." A fucking friend, don't say a word about it being a guy, and especially not your ex. She says my reaction doesn't match the situation and that I was acting like an idiot. I say, "You were with your ex in my apartment. Do you even realize what a fucking slap in the face that is?" Then I ask why the hell they met in the first place. She says he's going through a tough time and needs someone to lean on, and that she just wanted to support him because he's a good person, and that meeting him in my apartment proves that there's nothing suspicious going on between them. I say that's complete nonsense and that if my ex had problems and I supported her, she'd be furious. And Lily goes, "No, I would understand. I have empathy." I'm like, "That's bullshit, Lily. You were the one who got mad when I smiled at the girl at the gym who complimented me on my shape." She declared the conversation over and stormed out of the house. I didn't say anything, didn't run after her, didn't text her. I just sat on the couch and started wondering what the hell just happened. Then I called my dad and he gave me some really good advice. And a couple of hours ago, Lily texted me, "Can we talk? Sorry, I didn't tell you it was my ex. I don't want you to think anything wrong. Nothing happened and nothing will happen. I love you." He texted me out of the blue that he needed to talk to someone. I didn't pay attention to it. "I'm sorry I lied to you." Well, it sounds like a stupid excuse, right? At first, I didn't pay attention, and then, sorry I lied, so I betrayed him after all, since I lied. I wanted to meet him at your place because I didn't want you to think that something was going on. Please talk to me. I love you. I just felt like she didn't respect me. I'm not talking about the 1950s, like a woman should respect a man. No, but if it were the other way around and I was sitting with my ex at her house, I would support my girlfriend if she was angry. I would tell my ex that her smug tone was unacceptable towards my girlfriend, etc. I'm still really angry, so I don't think I should talk to her right now. It's about 3 AM now. Honestly, I'm just so tired. I haven't answered her yet, but after talking to my dad, I'm leaning toward breaking up. Not because she talked to her ex, but because how I felt at the time it all happened. It's a huge red flag to me that she said, "Old friend," not ex. I still don't understand it. At the time when I was clearly angry at her ex, she never once took my side. When I was polite, before I knew who he was, I felt like the odd one out. Well, before we continue, I'd like to hear from you in the comments about this situation. Do you think this kind of behavior of the girl is normal? What I personally liked about this story is that the author called his father and asked his opinion, and the father gave his opinion. It seems to me that it doesn't happen often that a father and son consult about love relationships, and this speaks of a good connection between them that they can discuss such frank issues. And the father can advise his son something. And the main thing is that the author is ready to listen to his father's advice and recognizes it as useful. Well, as for whether he should leave this girl, I think that if he hadn't left her, perhaps nothing terrible would have happened in principle. Maybe she just doesn't really understand the whole situation. Although really, the way she behaved with this ex-boyfriend shows that she has some feelings for him. And nevertheless, in the end, perhaps, everything could have worked out well, but at the moment I think that he should break up with her. Simply because, yes, everything might work out well in some years, but it will be very difficult for him with her. She will screw up again in the future, perhaps, due to some misunderstanding. They will quarrel forever. And this is not the best option if it is possible to choose another. And considering that she is not his first girlfriend, then it seems to me absolutely right to look for another. In general, write what you think and we will continue. Update. It is now about 7:00 PM, and to be honest, the last 13 hours of waking life have been fucking exhausting. I woke up this morning because my phone just exploded from notifications, and I was like, fuck, why the hell did I even decide to pour my personal thoughts into a post on the internet? I started scrolling through your comments. To say that I was shocked is to say nothing. At that moment, I was furious and couldn't believe what had happened. I sat down on the couch, started doing breathing exercises, tried to calm down, but it was no use. Kyle's words to my girlfriend were spinning in my head. "Do you want me to leave?" I hadn't paid attention to this before, but man, it just knocked me out. I was ready to completely lose it. I kept repeating to myself, "It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it." But all I wanted at that moment was to punch Kyle in the face. No self-soothing methods worked. I picked up the phone and said, "Syria, call the old man." I, to be honest, did not know what I would say, but I knew one thing. If anyone could sober me up, it would be my father. I do not remember every line verbatim, but I will try to reproduce it as accurately as possible. I was completely dumbfounded at that moment. "Well, I don't know, 75 at most." Dad laughed a little and said, "Well, that's an explanation for Timberland, the damn male equivalent of heels. I didn't get it at the time, but then it came to me. He did what he always does. I can't be mad if I'm laughing, and Dad knows how to make me laugh at any second." I burst out laughing. "You're right, Dad." "I'm sorry, author. I love you to death. Please talk to me. I shouldn't have left yesterday. I panicked. You know I love you." I stayed silent. "Author, please, talk to me. This is wrong. Please talk to your girlfriend." "I'm sorry. I told you nothing happened. I'll never talk to him again. Please, I beg you, let's just talk." At that moment, it began to dawn on me how I felt for her. As you understood from my post, I live alone, so I had no one to talk to. So I decided to call the only person who was always there, my father. Many in private messages and in the comments asked more to tell you what exactly our conversation was about. But first, I'll go back to the situation itself because I want to clarify some details. Literally almost everyone took my side. In the morning, I was scrolling and waiting for at least one comment in her defense. There was none. What surprised me most was the number of women who wrote that they would never do that to their man and what kind of extreme disrespect it was. These comments hit me the hardest because these were my thoughts. Last night was a complete storm of emotions. To be honest, I could not believe what happened. When I reread yesterday's text, I realized that by the end I was already in a hurry and completely exhausted, so I missed a lot of details. So Lily stormed out of my apartment after I told her that she was damn wrong if she thought I would be okay with seeing my ex under the pretext that he needed someone to lean on. As I said, I didn't call her, I didn't text her, I didn't run after her. Dad picks up the phone and says, "Yeah, I already saw Vach give them 43 points. He was talking about basketball." I laughed a little and said, "That's not what I want to talk about, Dad. I just got into a huge fight with Lily. I'm mad and I don't want to do anything stupid." Hey, wait, where are you now? Are you okay with her? I'm at my house. She just left. I'm sitting here, just not knowing what to do. There was a long pause after that. I heard Dad take a deep breath and say, "Oh, okay, spill it." I started telling him the same thing I told you in the last post. He was silent the whole time, didn't say a word. I finished the story, and the only thing he asked was, "What does Kyle look like?" I won't lie, it knocked me out of Kalaya. I was like, who the fuck knows? White guy with long curly hair and all that. What, Dad? No. How tall is he? That's rare, son. You're rare. A real woman like your mother to me. At that moment, I chuckled. She'll walk into your life herself when you least expect it. Don't waste your energy. Everything happens for a reason, son. I paused for a moment and said, "Thanks, Dad. I needed it." Dad laughed. Of course, my mum and I are always there. And we ended the call. Back to this morning. I couldn't sleep well. The night was a complete mess. All morning, Lily had been bombarding me with calls and messages apologizing and begging for forgiveness. It's about 11 o'clock AM now, and I'm completely burned out from the whole situation. I still haven't responded to her since she stormed out of the apartment yesterday. In my opinion, she made her choice. But I have a long, hard week ahead of me, and I can't let this whole situation weigh on me any longer. I grabbed a bite to eat and went to the gym in the house just to run. On days when I'm working out, I go to a private gym and I do my cardio in the gym in the house. Running is therapy for me. Around 1 o'clock, I got a call and, as you might have guessed, it was Lily. I didn't want to pick up the phone, but we've been together for 12 years. I felt like I had to answer. What happened? I spoke and immediately heard crying. He continued, "And how much does he weigh?" I thought about it and said, well, maybe 70 kilos. Then Dad went back to the actual argument between me and Kyle. You said Lily asked Kyle to leave only after you started getting really mad, is that right? Yeah, I said. Dad fell silent again, took a deep breath and said, "Son, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a lot deeper than it seems. It says a lot to me that she only insisted he leave then. When you really started getting mad, you are 6'11" and 186 pounds, and you're being abused in your own home by a man you don't even know. When a woman cares about a man, the last thing she wants is for him to be in danger. She knew full well what would happen if the situation continued to escalate, and she chose to get Kyle out of harm's way, and then she blamed it all on you. Honestly, son, where do you think she is now?" I said nothing. I knew what he was getting at. I know it hurts, but promise me you won't do anything stupid. She made her choice, and there's not much you can do about it. You've spent your whole life proving that you're one of a kind. Don't ruin your life over what will ultimately turn out to be a small bump in your path. Seriously, I couldn't be more proud of you, son. You're 22. You're living alone in a big city. You've got it all together. Instead of anger or sadness or anything else, I just felt indifference when she spoke. I replied, "You can come around 15. Still in tears, she said, yes. I said, "Okay," and hung up. I just sat on the couch and waited for 15 hours. Scrolling through the comments to my previous post, I heard a knock from the hallway. A moment later, I saw my girlfriend enter the room. She was in complete shock, barely able to squeeze out through her tears. That it's over, I repeated. Author, no, please forgive me. Don't end this between us. I love you to death, she said hysterically. And I won't lie, those words hit hard. Fuck, so hard, guys. I couldn't keep up the mask anymore. Don't end it. What's between us? I say. Lily, I'm sorry, but I can't stand this shit anymore. This cannot be saved. She looked at me and said, Author, no please. Stop. Lily, it's over. I interrupted. Do us both a favor, pack your things and go. Lily, it's over. Let's leave it at that. She said nothing. She simply got up and started packing her things around the apartment. I took a trash bag and helped her pack everything. She left the keys to my apartment on the table and left. It all ended around 4:30 p.m. And if actions speak louder than words, then her apology carried no weight. I could hardly contain myself. Did I really love her? Yes, I still love her, but I realized that it was better for me. I could no longer trust her, and without trust and loyalty there can be no relationship. In my eyes, she had lost both. While she was crying, I looked at her and said, Lily, please, it's over. Since then, I've just been sitting here trying to figure out what the hell happened. Honestly, our breakup still feels unreal. I didn't even plan to write yesterday, but I just needed to vent. And since the post went viral, I felt like I should update it today. It's 7:35 p.m. right now. I'm in so much pain. To everyone who actually read this long update, thank you. To everyone who left comments under my previous post, thank you. He knew I was bi from the beginning of our relationship and never really said anything about it until last year. Everything changed after he met my college friend May. Maya is also bi and very beautiful. She doesn't brag about her experience, although she talks about it openly. Last year, while we were playing drunken group games, she told me she had a threesome. And apparently that's when my boyfriend got the idea. I don't know what impression you've gotten of me over the course of our relationship, but I won't stay with a woman who thinks such shitty things about me. You yourself decided to end things between us the moment you invited your ex to my apartment behind my back, Lily, and that's something I would never ignore. At that moment, the words just poured out of me. No man acts so smug for no reason, Lily. I'm not a fucking idiot. You gave him some kind of encouragement to have the audacity to behave like this. You even supported him in front of me. Why should I stay with a man who did not take my side? Lelia is already in tears saying, Forgive me, Author, I love you, forgive me. You can call me whatever you want, but at that moment I gave in. I simply did not have the courage to continue hammering her. She was sobbing non-stop, she was simply torn apart. I sat in silence. Author, forgive me, this will not happen again. Author, I love only you. I will never talk to him again. Never, I promise. Author, please give me another chance, said Lily. I sat absolutely silently. I felt a huge weight on my chest, as if my ribs were about to crack. For many, it may seem that she said everything right, but for me, actions always speak louder than words. Last night, she made her choice with her actions. I really needed to vent last night. And now we move on to the next story. Story 2, my boyfriend talked me into a threesome, and I liked it, but not because of him. It happened 2 days ago, and my emotions are still in turmoil. But I'll try to lay it out in order and as clearly as possible. I'm writing from a left account because the guy knows my main one. So I'm 21, he's 22, and we've been together for 3 years. Maya PM'd me a few times to make sure I was on board and comfortable saying things like, this isn't really your style. I said it was fine, and my boyfriend and I discussed it. When the X day came, she suddenly took the initiative into her own hands, which I don't think my boyfriend expected at all. I won't go into details, but she made it so that the attention was focused on me and even tipped my boyfriend off on what to do. I also think he was surprised by how much he liked being told what to do. Edit, my boyfriend beat me to it and texted me that we needed to talk. We agreed to meet at Starbucks after my shift tomorrow. Maybe I'll update the post later. Update, the whole situation was emotionally draining for me, and the post got shared more than I expected. Eventually, the guy saw my post and read the comments. Honestly, I think it was the best sex I've ever had with my boyfriend. Afterwards, she made us comfortable. I don't remember how my boyfriend and I fell asleep, but when we woke up, breakfast was already ready. Maya is a professional chef, so it was incredibly delicious. She left a note that she had to go to work after lunch and apologized for not being able to stay. When we met, he apologized, said he didn't think his pressure was manipulative, since we had talked before about being more intimate, and he thought I just needed time. He admitted that he liked it all, but it wasn't how he imagined, and that he was starting to feel insecure about himself because I was so responsive to Maya. Only afterwards, he felt inadequate as a partner. I was very much against it when he first brought it up, but eventually he tormented me into agreeing. As soon as I said yes, he immediately proposed to Maya, and looking back, I realized that this was exactly what he wanted from the start. We approached Maya with the proposal, and she agreed. We found a time that was convenient for everyone. If he tried to switch to her, she would gently bring him back to me, saying something like, "Look how beautiful your girlfriend is when you do that." She hardly allowed him to touch her without my consent. "Do you want to do that?" She praised me a lot during the whole process, and I didn't even know that I liked it that much. She also checked all the time whether we were both comfortable. I feel like the dynamic between me and the guy changed after that, and I know we need to talk, but I don't even know what to say. The point is, I liked May more than I ever did with my boyfriend. I didn't want to go into too much detail because it's redundant, but Maya mostly touched me and focused on me. I think my boyfriend was disappointed that he wasn't the center of attention. Even before this whole thing, I had explained to him that distance from Maya would not solve his problems. We argued until he gave me the either it is me or her speech. I just walked away. I am hurt and offended that it had to come to this. How the hell did I end up in this situation? I know you all pointed out the red flags, but he was my first serious boyfriend. 3 years of relationships are hard to just cross out. She said that she would support me as a friend and give me space as I want. I really appreciate that. For everyone who was hoping that I would be with Maya, I'm sorry, but I think I'll be single for a while longer to figure myself out. I like Maya as a friend and maybe as something more, but if I ever want something with her, then only when I am 100% sure that it is sincere and not because of loneliness or fantasy. I already have a psychotherapist, and I think I will work on this in order to better set boundaries in relationships in the future. Thanks again to everyone for the support. Well, that's all. Write your opinion on the story in the comments and your general attitude to threesomes. I think, based on the majority of similar stories, as I said before, that usually this is how it all ends. I admit I was mad because I had been telling him for the past year that this was exactly how it would happen, that threesomes, especially when boundaries were not set in advance, always ended up like this. I was willing to work on it if he was willing to work on his confidence, but he asked me to stop talking to Maya. I absolutely refused. Maya is one of my few close friends in town, and we were very close. When I came home, I called Maya and told her everything. She tried to apologize, explaining that at start she liked me a little, but over time it grew into just friendship. When my ex-boyfriend and I suggested her a threesome, she was happy. She apologized again, said that she didn't want us to break up or for it all to become something more. But I assured her that it wasn't her fault. Well, that is, it ends in failure, although there are positive examples. Or it seems that everything worked out well only outwardly. But in reality, everything is not so. I don't know.